Hi there guys, welcome back. Today we are going to look at the market environment as promised. Um, just a quick recap on what the market environment is. It's the business environment directly outside of the business. The business doesn't have any control over the market environment, but you can influence the elements of the market environment, and we are going to have a look at the elements in detail, and then I'm quickly going to share with you methods that you can use on how to influence these elements. So the first one that we're going to have a look at is called the customer or clients. Now, clients, I mean, you cannot control them. You cannot put a gun to their head and tell them and force them to buy your product. But there are certain ways that you can use to influence their thoughts. And one of these ways are sales. You can have special offers, 2 for the price of 1, for example, or just normal seasonal sales. But one thing that is very important is that you need to identify your target market first. Your target market is that group of people that you'll be selling your products to. That can be based on a lot of different things, like their age, their gender, their level of income, even their religion can be used to determine your target market. Then you also need to develop a need or a want for your product. In the current situation that we are going through, there's a lot of medical supplies in demand. So a lot of people want medical supplies. So that's what you can concentrate on when you're trying to sell your product. The next one is what we call suppliers. Now, I've already mentioned a few things on suppliers in one of my previous videos, the business environment, but I'm quickly going to recap that. When you look at a sufficient supplier, things you need to consider are the time of the delivery. Will they be able to deliver on time? The price of the product that you're going to buy, as well as the quality and the quantity that they can deliver. Another option that you can consider is the method of payment that they accept. Can you buy on credit? Do they take cash only? Just to name a few things that you can consider when it comes to payment. You can influence suppliers by setting up long-term contracts with them. Maybe you'll get a cheaper price on your products that you buy from them, as well as keeping a good relationship with them over the years, and maybe doing a bit of advertising for them among your contacts. Also, another method that you can use to influence them is by buying in bulk. Sometimes they are willing to give you a bit of a discount when you buy in bulk. The third element in the market environment is our competitor. Now, the competitors, once again, you cannot control them. These are businesses that sell similar items to satisfy the same needs and wants as your product, but by offering your products at a special price, you can create some pressure, and that will cause them to either drop their price or improve the standards of their products or service. Then next we've got the intermediaries. Now, intermediaries, it's a bit more complex to understand, but it's actually very easy. It's those role players that do not have a direct hands-on influence in the transaction itself, but they play a role behind the scenes, like insurance companies, for example. When you're going to transfer a product from point A to B, it's possible that you might need insurance for that product. What if something happens on the road and the delivery truck gets into an accident? I mean, who's going to carry the costs and carry the losses? So that's why you can take out insurance. Another intermediary is the transport company itself. A lot of times people make use of transport companies to get their products from A to B. They don't deliver it by themselves or go and fetch it from the supplier themselves. So that's where they use independent transport companies. Another example is what we call regulators. Now regulators, like we've heard over the last few weeks, are those people or groups of people that make sure that customers aren't exploited when it comes to pricing of products, that it's not too expensive. Even though the demand might be high, businesses should still ask a reasonable price for their products. Right, so the next one is we are very familiar with. It's called trade unions. Now, trade unions, it's a group of people that represent and defend the rights of workers, and they can at any time give the command to their members to go on strike. Now, you get different types of strikes. The first one that we're going to look at is what we call a go slow. A go slow is where the people are at work. Your employees are there to work, but they do their work at a very slow rate. You cannot really do something about it because they're not doing anything wrong. It's just that they are their productivity levels are very low. Then the second example of a strike is a normal strike as we know it. People just don't come to work, they stay away. They don't pitch for work. And then the third one is what we call picketing. Now that's where protests are being held outside of the premises, where people are, that's what we see on television, where people are protesting, dancing up and down, singing songs with their slogans written on boards, and yeah, it's what we call picketing. Now, neither of these are really what we want. We want people to be happy at work, and we want them to be productive. And but sometimes things do happen, and then trade unions come and defend the rights of the workers. Now, there's one way to influence these trade unions, and that is to negotiate with them so that all parties involved can get a win-win situation. Then the last one is what we call non-governmental organizations, or NGOs. Now, the word or the name suggests it all. Examples of NGOs are organizations like Cancer, Reach for a Dream, the SPCA, JAM. These are normally non-profit organizations, and they are out there to perform a good deed. And it can benefit your business when you contribute to these organizations. And when you look at the business function, public relations, that's where you can really use the image of your business to promote it among the public when you contribute to these organizations. So in a nutshell, that's the market environment. Next up, we're going to have a look at the macro environment. But until then, keep safe, and thanks for watching. I'll be seeing you around. Goodbye.